Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali. I thank you, Brother Shakur Peace, for sharing this update with me on the case of Nakira Greiner, who was married to her owner, right over there. You can see him. And ostensibly, it seems as if on the surface they were supposed to have a happy marriage. I'm not saying they wouldn't, but it's still, you can feel as if you've managed to achieve some sort of normalcy with pure dysfunction all over the place. When you have a situation that would lead you to the crime this woman was found guilty of committing, just recently she was found guilty of killing her firstborn, called Daniel Greiner Jr. That the father's name was Daniel Greiner. When you commit such a heinous act, and just to give you an idea in case you haven't heard of this story, what she did was I do believe she strangled her child, 23 months old, because he wouldn't eat his breakfast and wouldn't listen to her. That is really an intensive overreaction to the natural just ways of infancy. And being an abusive parent can get to be a very just a terrible mistake to make if you are living in a mindset of superficiality, especially, and looking at the booty shot. It's a lunacy to pivot on your most insignificant features. And because if you see any women of significance that you admire personally because they've done something incredible, you don't expect to see a photo of Asada Shakur turned around trying to prove to everybody, look, I got a big butt. So you are a married woman. That is automatically just supposed to be, if you've chosen well, a satisfaction that would eliminate your desire to search for just approval from anyone else. And even before you're married, if you are a young lady and you think that this is some sort of, step up in life, which is what these swirlers just promote, is this whole idea that getting with a white man is just an automatic entree into respectability, into escaping Blackistan, because, black men are the worst men on the planet. And for the black male swirlers, black women are the worst people on the planet. All of this is supposed to be a sense of that you are a quality person. But this ain't quality at all. It's groveling. It's attention whoring. It is really just operating as if you are nothing but a cow, to be measured from the sum total of your, enhanced, whether you got them naturally or they're plastic, body parts. And that's just nothing but a smorgasbord at Red Lobster. And so that type of mindset is the one that would be more prone to see the superficial, Disney-fied reputation of white people, while you do no in-depth research whatsoever, which I'm just like, at this point in time, you really should be watching these, different murder documentaries that are just, they're so plentiful. And then just when I think I've seen them all, I'll roll across a motherload of even more. I'm not going to go over the details of this. I just want to really quickly prove the point that we got this rosy idea about these folks. If you think that getting with them is an automatic improvement when you can see in their media, I mean, the new show on Hulu, Kindred, which was written by Octavia Butler. Wow, I'm so disappointed in Octavia. But the movie is even worse than the book Kindred, where at least in Kindred they had the black woman married to her white owner. But in the TV show, no, that's too much for you black women. It's just a booty call and a way of trying to explain away the fact that this black woman is breeding herself out of existence. All because it's just so much of a compliment to her. And so you have Sarah Beller, who her and her whole 18 siblings from the same mother and father, all of them were incested. And that's like one of the nice stories. You had the Colt family of Australia, where the whole friggin' family was living in absolute filth. They didn't even have houses. They just had tents with cots for their family. And of course, if we keep on scrolling down, there goes the sex abuse. The cult lifestyle was one of rampant sexual abuse, with family members engaging in acts with just about every other family member. I am doing everybody a favor by not going over this in detail. Because we got this one also. This one was more of a cult, Aleister Crowley type of thing. But Kidwelly sex cult, where you had plenty of white women getting connected, hooked up with this thing, offering up their children to this disgusting looking, I mean, good Lord, there's some crusty underwear out there that looks loads better than this dude. Then you got whole families where it was just generational incest, like the Gala family. And I'm just pivoting on those who were completely insane, because I have never, ever heard of the like with black house. I'm not saying they're not working on some black family out there. But I'm just saying, ain't nobody working on these people. They're doing it because this is what they want to do. Which proves to me that this whole narrative that we black people are the worst people on the planet is just absolutely racistly orchestrated bullcrap. We are in no way the worst at all. Are we perfect? No, we're not. Are white people the sum total of evil on the planet, Asian people included? Well, we could have a conversation about that, and you can pick to have that conversation before or after Fukushima has its complete and total devastating effects about whether or not they're the most evil people on the planet. But individually, are there white people who would never ever think of killing anybody? I guess so, right? I think I've met some of them, but I'm just saying overall, I have no knowledge intimately from being raised by white folks so that I could speak authoritatively on which ones are good, right? Because what interferes, one of the reasons I watch all these friggin' murder documentaries, so I can pummel to death in my head. I'm not talking about a real person, but the propaganda that has been just forced into my concept of who these people are, so I can see them for who they really are. So when I say that this chick was almost as good as a white woman, I mean studying what their society really is in terms of, right now I'm just focusing on the white females, as opposed to the societal narrative that they put out there, that you hear these male swirlers out there who are just like, I just have to be with Becky because she's so more feminine. The black women aren't feminine. And what winds up happening to a lot of young ladies who don't have a sense of self, a sense of their own boundaries, what they wind up doing is feeling as if they're not getting the attention because non-black men are not going to see black women with the same amount of reverence that if you are an honorable woman, you'll get from following the Most High's guidance on how to get a significant mate in a black man. Then there's no non-black race out there that's going to see you beyond the propaganda that white people put out there about all of us. And what do you care? What do you care? If you love yourself, then there's no conflict. But there's going to be a conflict that's evident in those black people who desperately need non-black people to approve of them in order to have a sense that they matter. You're going to see more attention whoring. You're going to see just an embrace of superficiality that leads to impatience, because your satisfaction is based on such just insignificant concepts of what is valuable. You want instantaneous approval. You want to walk out looking like you got bank off of some stupid name brand crap that you might be wearing, and who knows how you got it, how you could afford all of these stupid designer this and designer that, but you're so desperate for attention that you think, well, this is how I'm gonna get it. Oh, I'm gonna give me a white man. That's how I'm gonna get it. When you don't like yourself. And you have to like yourself so that you will recognize your home. Your home is your satisfaction. And you want it to be truly satisfying, not fakely so. And so that when you have a baby, you don't need the baby to perform on script, because ain't no such thing. Ain't no child who's ever going to perform on script so that you could do what you've calculated. You know, I've got to be at my hairdresser by 10:30 and this baby won't eat. How dare you, baby? Right? And so that comes from this Western civilization concept where everything who steals from whole other nations so you could build a bigger extension on your mansion when you don't need that if you're satisfied in your own home, right? And so you wind up imitating these people. But let me tell you, there's just no way you can ever rise to, and I'm just right here, I'm just showcasing the individual murderesses out there. It's like one after the other. These are chilling stories, and we all know women have the lowest percentage of criminality of, the human race overall. But this idea that Becky is perfect, it's not possible, because their culture tends to fixate on the trivial. Right? You got I can't remember the name of the chick who she got away with killing her little girl. Right? And there's so many, but then I find all of these, right? There's the other one, Susan Anthony. Oh no, that was the one who got away with it. Then there was Susan Smith, who just drove her two sons into a lake because she wanted a new boyfriend, right? That tends to be the pattern, is just a general dissatisfaction with the fact that, you know what, life ain't a bed of roses for anybody. Congratulations, you've got the gift of life. Don't take somebody else's because it's not some picture perfect concept in your insane head. Right? Even for white people, leave your daggone children and spouses alone. If you are dissatisfied, work it out. Don't take a life, because that doesn't work out inevitably. Even for these chicks, usually, it does not. Hallelujah. Hey? But this whole idea, I was amazed to find out that Mother Teresa was a friggin' pimp for the satanic elites, shuttling little children off to them to rape and slaughter as satanic sacrifices. Right? And then you got this chick right here, Georgia Tan. She was considered the mother of adoption in America. But you know what she was doing? She was just running a baby mill. And she was like, I had an old video where I was just talking about the levels of white women murderers historically through forever. Right? Well, I didn't even hear about Georgia Tan, who would just like hire staff, all white women, and they would just canvass the neighborhood. And if there was a poor white mother out there, they would abduct her child. Sometimes they go in and say, oh, your baby, I hear him coughing. We can help him. We're just going to take him to the doctor. And they would just steal the baby, and then the mother would never hear about it again. And because she was poor, she would go and make a complaint, but Georgia Tan was rich. And the investigators would just, oh, sorry, nothing we could do about it. You handed your baby to him, right? And right after she died, the people who worked for her the whole time and said she was probably responsible for the death of 100 children. And so you almost as good as a white woman if you think that's good, because that's what you are adopting, their mindset, their mentality of superficial concepts of what is successful in life. And that baby, that was your success. And this woman killed him, burned his body, buried him underneath a shed in her backyard, and called the police several times. Say, my baby's been kidnapped, my baby's been kidnapped. That's like, how freaking white of you to lie like that. Right? You can't even just admit, oh my goodness, what a horrible thing I've done. I should pay for this. I should. That's the only thing that would make it anywhere close to right. And it could never be righted. But you gonna do something like that, right? Yes, that's a biracial baby, but it's a baby. You made that mistake, living a life based on the surface of what you think is going to get you acclaim and approval. And it was all wrong. This is the epitome of dysfunction. Right? So my condolences to everybody who loved the little baby. Right? Right. Whew, thank you again, Brother Shakur, for sharing this with me, because it needed to be. I try, if I speak about swirlers, I don't enjoy just going over the same old crap again and again, because these dudes have proven themselves to be pure deluxe idiots. I just want to examine it in new understandings, new just analysis, because it just, this superficial life, it just doesn't end with the swirlers. It's also you and I, where we have this notion of what success is based on these people determining, oh, we like that content over there that talks about absolutely not a damn thing that's in your food on your plate right this second, and it's popping away. We will look at that and say, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be listening to. This is what matters. And no. Step away from the devil as much as you can, as far as east is from west. And then all of this will have absolutely no excuse left whatsoever, because as long as we are on the soup line for whiteism, we are always going to be caught out there with never enough of what really feeds us. I love you, family. Peace and blessings, straight, black, family, pride, always.